If you're looking for the cheapest and most reliable Madden 22 coins on the market, check out my sponsor, MMOEXPR.com. Links are in the description, and use code JEDI at checkout for 5% off. Alrighty, hey there guys, Adrian Peterson here, aka JediBrown95, coming at you guys with another video. First off, let me just go ahead and say Happy New Year to everybody who is watching right now. Hope you guys have a great year. Hopefully 2022 is a lot better than 2021. For basically everybody. And also, guys, I do want to appreciate everybody who watched throughout 2021. I did say this a few times on my Twitter, which if you're not following me on Twitter, please go follow me on Twitter. I'll put my link to my Twitter in the description. But thank you to all who have watched throughout the year, whether it was recently or if it was the entire year. Your views, your likes, your comments all make me very happy to continue doing videos. But in this video, guys, we're going to be doing something I did on Christmas, but a lot has changed since Christmas. We're going to be re-ranking all of the theme teams in Madden 22. So you see here, we got all the team logos, and we're going to be re-ranking all of the theme teams from Madden 22 on Madden 22. After the Zero Chill promo, I'll probably do this again around after Super Bowl time or closer to like the Easter promo. Going into Easter, we'll find out who the best ones are, and then the final one I will do for the ranking is probably going to be like the last month, just ranking on when content is officially done, ranking off the final rankings for the theme team. So with that being said, guys, let's jump into the first one and let's look at the Tennessee Titans. Now the Tennessee Titans have made some tremendous strides over the past few weeks. First off, they got Derrick Henry out of position card, who I think is easily the best quarterback in this game by a decent amount. Anyways, I don't even think it's close. Derrick Henry is just by far the best quarterback in the game. Then you have Adrian Peterson, who is in a conversation as a top 3 running back. I would make the case that he is the best, but that's neither here nor there for me. Frank Wycheck, now they actually just got the blocking. They actually got him today for the Legends. However, this is a Legend set piece, so you actually can't have this card and the tight end version at the same time. The wide receivers, though, are still pretty lackluster. You know, Randy Moss is still their best receiver, as you see at 97 speed, which is okay, especially since he is 6'4". Yes, since he is 6'4", you see right there. But 97 speed is not the worst, especially for a size like him. Andre Johnson, though, after that is pretty bad at 96. And then Julio Jones, I think, is like 80. Yeah, 89. So, yeah, the wide receivers are not the best, obviously. Tight ends, again, they just got Frank Wycheck, who is definitely a very, very good card. Obviously, he's better fullback, and I actually think this is probably where you should play him, is at the fullback spot. Offensive line, though, they did get quite a bit better. As you see, they got Kevin Mawai. I don't know if he was in the game before the Christmas. Actually, he was. So you got Kevin Mawai, Roger Saffold, Quentin Spain. This team has one of the better O-lines in the game. Defensively, though, their front 4, obviously, with their pass rush, it's not the greatest with Javon Curse and Jadeveon Clowney. I mean, you have Al Woods and Tier Hart, but Danico Audrey is in need of an upgrade. Linebackers, though, they actually did get a very good one in Jaylen Brown, who has 96 speed on a Titans theme team. So, you know, linebacker, they're actually pretty set for. And I love my field general linebackers because they do get lurker for 1 AP, just like pass coverage. But they also get some good abilities too, like they get out my way for 1 AP, which is a very underrated ability in my personal opinion. They also can get secure tackler, which is also very, very good that a lot of people should be using more. They also have Wibbler Marshall. Their secondary is still pretty mediocre. But in terms of the team overall, I'm going to put this team in the A tier. I don't know if they were in the A tier last time, but, you know, they got their upgraded quarterback, which was definitely needed, and they don't have to worry about the running back either because they do have Adrian Peterson now. It's just a wide receiver. Their skilled positions in wide receiver and cornerback are pretty lackluster, but they're still a great team nonetheless. Now we'll move on to the Miami Dolphins. Now the Dolphins have some solid pieces. First off, they have Dan Marino, who does get every team count, but as I alluded to in the last video, he is a Miami Dolphin, so he does go for the Dolphins theme team. Mainly. They did get Ricky Williams for the LTD, who has 98 speed on the Dolphins theme team, also on the Ravens and Saints. He does have a lot of good, he is a very good card, 98 speed on Dolphins theme team. They still have Larry Zonka. Their wide receivers, though, meh. They're still meh. You know, Devontae Parker's 97 speed. But Devontae Parker's 6'3". Brandon Marshall is 6'5", and he powers up to 97 speed on the Dolphins theme team. So you have two big receivers at 6'3" that are 97 speed, which is actually not that bad. Mike Gesicki is still a below average tight end. Offensive line, though, they got some solid players at the offensive line position. Mike Pouncey, Richie Incognito, Laramie Tunzel, and Billy Turner are a solid O-line. But defensively, this team is a little bit better than I think that people are giving it credit for, personally. You have Emmanuel Ogbah, who's a really good rush end, as you can see once I click on the thing. 88 speed for a rush end and 94 power move. It's pretty solid. Then you have Christian Wilkins for the defensive tackle and Jason Taylor for the end, as well as Adama Kung Su. So, you have some good ends here. Linebackers, though, they actually did get a significant upgrade today at the linebacker spot with Junior Seau. Now, he does get every team chem if you have the Season 1 champion, just like with Devin Hester. However, the main legend card that came out today has Dolphins chem. So you can get Junior Seau on your team for the Dolphins. So, what I'm trying to say here is basically for the Chargers, Dolphins, Patriots, you can get both Season 1 champions. And then for the Hawks, Falcons, Ravens, and Bears, you can get both Season 1 champions. Those 7 teams can get both Season 1 champions on their roster. It's just a matter of this one has to be the actual power-up card, and then the other one is, the Season 1 champion. But Junior Seau was a big addition, a big upgrade at the middle linebacker position. Cornerback, though, they're still pretty lackluster. They do have Mika Fitzpatrick, but I do think they're still a B-tier team. I think if they, they need some corners. They do need some cornerbacks. Byron Jones is still okay, but, after that, after the cornerback, this team can creep up to A-tier. You have Brandon Marshall and Devontae Parker that are still very solid receivers. Not the greatest, but are still very solid receivers, especially given their size. Next, we move to Cleveland Browns. Now, Cleveland really did not get significantly better. In fact, I think this team actually did not get better, did not change at all. But considering that the game has changed quite a bit, because you got Baker Mayfield at quarterback, Willis McGahee is a solid running back, but nothing any special, as you see, 94 speed. Nothing really special. Miles Austin and Emmanuel Sanders are still the top 2 receivers, which is not the best. Ozzie Newsome, the Browns are still one of those teams that definitely does need some attention. But for the Browns, because of the way the game has changed a little bit, I actually think they're bordering on a D-tier team personally, and I think they might actually be the first D-tier team. I did say in the last video that I do think any team can be a C-tier team if you know how to use them right, but when it comes to teams like the Browns, this team is just, all you really need to do is just look at the roster and just go, yeah, this team is not the best. Cornerback, they're pretty fine. They got some of the best cornerbacks in the game. Greg Newsome, Everson Walls, Denzel Ward, Jason McCourty, Greedy Williams. They got some solid corners, but after their cornerback position, they're really not the best. I mean, they did get Joe DeLam. Sure, not going to try it. But, after that, it is what it is with the Browns. They're not looking the best. Now for the Jaguars, they did get a significant upgrade with Trevor Lawrence for the Ghost of Madden promo. They did get Trevor Lawrence, who does not get Hot Route Master, unfortunately. It is a bit of a bummer as you come down here for his abilities. You will see, even in ability slot 3, he cannot get Hot Route Master. But you know what? The thing is, yeah, sure, this card may not be good now, but later on in the year, excuse me one second. It may not be good now, but later on in the year, he can always get maybe a low Easter card. Maybe he gets a 95 overall Easter promo card. And then there we go. You got a Hot Route Master QB, right? So it's more of an investment type of thing, personally. When I feel with power-ups that come out, especially around now or even earlier in the game, yeah, sure, they may not be good now, but hey, maybe Trevor Lawrence could get a rising star, maybe even in April as well. He could get a rising star later on in the year, but Trevor Lawrence is okay. James Robinson's fine. Their wide receivers are still solid. Tight end is okay. Their offensive line is still pretty mid. Their interior right side is still pretty bad. But overall, after the quarterback upgrade, the Jaguars really didn't get too much. However, they're still pretty good to the point where I think they could justify being a C-tier team to a low B. Once they do get a better, especially some better defensive help, mainly at the cornerback. Griffin is really good. Don't get me wrong. Shaquille Griffin is really good, and Perry Nickerson is solid. But then after that, their third corners are not the best. You know, you could play Jalen Ramsey in the slot if you want. But also, like, their offensive line does need some help. You know, this team, actually, you know what? Let me put this team, yeah, no, I'm going to put this in a high C. I'm going to put this at a high C tier. Honestly, they're still pretty solid, but they're not the best. Detroit Lions. Now, the Detroit Lions did get a little bit better. Obviously, they still have Matthew Stafford, but they did get Adrian Peterson as well for the Lions team, who is still pretty great. The Lions running backs are very deep. All of these guys can be your starting running back in Barry Sanders, LeGarrette Blount, DeAndre Swift, and Adrian Peterson. Like the running back core on this team is very, very good. Obviously, their fullback isn't the greatest. But they did get they did get a Calvin Johnson upgrade since the last video. And this card is just insanely great. 99 speed, even on a 25 out of 50 Lions team. This card is 99 speed and 98 excel, 96 excel. So like this card is just insanely great all the way around. Like there really isn't anything to say about Calvin. Marvin Jones 96 speed is okay, but you know the wide receivers for the Lions are still in the lower half. Tight ends are pretty good, solid though. 93 speed, Eric Ebron. 91 speed, TJ Hawkinson, which isn't the worst. Wow, that was a voice crack. But offensive line though, this team is pretty great. 91 left tackle, who I think was part of. No, he's the team time. 91 left tackle. They actually got Jonah Jackson. I think he was a heavyweight. No, who was the card that got? I swear there was a card for the Lions that was an O lineman that was Ghost. Yeah, this guy right here. This guy right here, he was a Ghost of Madden card for the Lions. He was a future. He's still pretty good though, but the offensive line for the Lions is one of the best ones in the game. Front four, you know, Dwight Freeney, Ndamukong Suh, Everson Griffin, Trey Flowers are all very, very good. You can obviously put one of these guys to left end. Linebackers though, they're still on the lower half. Obviously, Broderick Thomas is solid, but you know, Derek Barnes and Alex Ozone is not the best. Darius Slay is their new cornerback they just got for the Zero Chill promo. 98 speed, which is good because now they actually have a stud corner. Lem Barney is okay. And then after that, obviously, Philip Buchanan, Desmond Trufant. Calvin Johnson and Quandre Diggs are a pretty solid safety duo. Obviously, you can use your Calvin. And then Tracy Walker, I did showcase him earlier last time. They also did get the new Hull Tinaga, which I think is just hilarious. Of a card. He does get 90. This is the maxed out stat. So he does get 94 speed on the Lions team. But this is still funny to me that they made basically a D tackle. 6'4", 340-pound guy as a D tackle. But the Lions overall, I think they are a B tier team. I don't know what they were. I think they were C tier last time. But for the Detroit Lions, I think if they get some more, if they start getting some you know, if they get like some more receivers, you know, other than Calvin, you know, if they get some more receivers, like they get a Marvin Jones upgrade, or maybe Danny Amendola gets like a vet, maybe Kenny Golladay. He's overdue for an upgrade in my personal opinion, Kenny Golladay. You know, Kenny Golladay, he gets a card, you know, Danny Amendola gets one, maybe even Roy Williams gets a legend card at some point. You know, this team could actually be very deadly. This team could actually be a very deadly team. Next, we move on to the Minnesota Vikings. Now, these guys actually did get significantly better they get a little bit better, I should say, with the Zero Chill promo. Obviously, they did get Adrian Peterson as well. Adrian Peterson got like 17 chem, so he's going to be popping up a lot. But they have Roger Craig as well, who also is a fullback. But they did get CJ Ham for Zero Chill, who is pretty solid, 92 speed as a fullback, which, you know, if you're a fullback user, it's still pretty good. But overall, like, you know, he's a good card. But the receivers are still pretty on the lower half. Justin Jefferson is great, but Stephon Diggs, I think he should get an upgrade soon. Will it be for playoffs? Maybe not. Will it be? But I do think Stephon should get a card sometime soon. But offensive line, you know, Gary Zimmerman, Ezra Cleveland, you know, Wyatt Davis, I think he was a ghost. No, he was a stocking stuffer for the Vikings. So he was their stocking stuffer for the year. And then Riley Reef, giggity. Then defensively, you know, Danielle Hunter, he was their Ghost of Madden. He was a Ghost of Madden player. Danielle Hunter, 95 speed, 96 power move, 96 finesse move, my bad, 95 power move for the Minnesota Vikings. Then we also have guys like Everson Griffin, who's a very good player. Everson Griffin, 88 speed, I think he's needed for an upgrade soon. Obviously, Ndamukong Suh is still pretty good. Uh, Linebackers, Anthony Barr, and, they still have some of the best in the game. Anthony Barr, Eric Kendricks, and Broderick Thomas are really great. Patrick Peterson was an overdue card for this team, 99 speed on this team for the Vikings theme team. Patrick Peterson is just incredible. One of the best cornerbacks in the game. Cordero Patterson is a 98 speed corner. Like, the Viking secondary, they did get significantly better. Their free safeties, though, are pretty bad. But, this team is still this team is about a B tier team. I think they belong right about here. Once they get some better safeties, I think this team can be very deadly. Now we'll move on to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Now, they were an S tier team, if I remember correctly, from the last video, and they only got better. They only got better. They do have Tom Brady. Now, there is a out-of-position Tom Brady that you can get, which is this guy right here. Now, this Tom Brady, I would actually recommend you use if you're using a Bucs theme team, because he does get some good mobility at 86 speed, which will be 88 on the Bucs theme team. But he also does come with some stock abilities like Hot Route Master, Identifier, and Set Feet Lead. Plus, you can also get things like, Bazooka, which is a great X Factor. But yeah, you can get some good, like this Tom Brady, he gets some good abilities. He does get, one of the best abilities in the game, Hot Route Master, and then Identifier, which is all really great. And it's 4 AP for this Tom Brady, so I do think this is the better card you should be using, but Tom Brady is still pretty great. LeGarrette Blount and Vita Vea, they did get a Vita Vea card for out of position at halfback, which I'm not a fan of this card personally, just because of the fact that he has 92 speed. But he is a big fat dude at 347 pounds, so he is going to fall forward a lot. Wide receivers are still some of the best in the game, and they did get an upgrade with Chris Godwin for Ghosts of Madden with 98 speed on the Bucs theme team. 98 speed, 97 acceleration. Just Chris Godwin is a great player. All three of these guys are great receivers. Antonio Brown, 97 speed, and then obviously Keyshawn Johnson, 98 speed, and he's 6'4", which makes him very valuable. Gronk and Cameron Bate are their two top tight ends. Offensive line, though, they did get an upgrade with Alex Kappa, which was a pretty good upgrade. All they needed really is for the offense from the Mali Arpet. Defensively, they got William Golston, who was their stocking stuffer, and then they have Ndamukong Suh, Shaquille Barrett. Their defense, is really great. They did get Aqib Talib for Bonos, and they also did get Darrelle Revis for the Bonos promo as well, and they also got Richard Sherman as well. So in the last 3 weeks, they have gotten 396 overall cornerbacks, and they all can go up to 99 speed. Aqib Talib, Darrelle Revis. So this team, got 399 cornerbacks. And they still have John Lynch and Anton Winfield. So the Buccaneers are going to be an S-tier theme team, in my personal opinion. This team is just so stacked, so deep from top to bottom with pass rush, receivers, linebackers, corners, offensive line. Like, there's nothing this team does not have. Next, we move on to the San Francisco 49ers. Now, the San Francisco 49ers have a little bit of a change, but not too much. Jimmy Garoppolo is now their new starting QB, who isn't the best. Honestly, he's not that great. But they did get they still do have Roger Craig, but they did get a new wide receiver in Deion Sanders, who is 99 speed on a Niners theme team, as well as Cowboys, Falcons, Washington, and Ravens theme teams. We did get an out of position Deion Sanders. For the Niners. Pardon me. Debo Samuel, 98 speed card for Debo Samuel. I love how people try to act like this Debo Samuel isn't usable at all. Maybe, for the short route isn't that great, but you put this Debo Samuel in the slot and you just run a bunch of short routes with him. I don't understand how Niners fans say this isn't usable, in my personal opinion. Vernon Davis, they did get, though, for Ghosts of Madden, 97 speed on Niners theme team, as well as the Broncos and Washington. Yeah, this card is just super, super deadly. The Niners got a great tight end. Offensive line, they're still pretty solid, whatever. Now, defensively, they're still a little bit, they're still needing a little bit of attention. Eric Armstead is still pretty bad. Nick Bosa, DeForest Buckner, Nick Bosa is still pretty good. D Ford is really great. Fred Warner is also awesome. But they did get Richard Sherman as well for cornerback. He did come out like a showcase with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers theme team. But Richard Sherman is out. Taylor Mays, obviously. But this team, I think, with this team, they need a quarterback, personally. And I'm going to put this team as a high A, a mid-A, honestly. I think if they get a quarterback and I guess maybe a better Debo Samuel, even though I don't understand how people say this Debo Samuel is not usable. You know, like, you just run a bunch of short routes with the guy. He has 98 speed, too. Like, I don't understand it, but, Debo Samuel, I think if you just, they get a Debo Samuel upgrade and a quarterback, they can be really deadly. Atlanta Falcons is the next team. Now, the Atlanta Falcons, nothing much has really changed for them. They did get an out-of-position Michael Vick running back card, which is pretty solid. This card is pretty good, and I've heard some people say that this card is actually better than the stats make it out to be, especially on the the carrying. The carrying stats, you see only a 68 carrying, which is pretty bad, but I've heard people say that it's actually not that big a deal. People have actually used as Michael Vick, and they say that the carrying doesn't really matter. It's still very good, so I don't know. It remains to be seen, but for wide receivers, they did get Deion Sanders. They also got the new Devin Hester, which was the season 1 champion, but he did get another card, obviously. So, but 99 speed Devin Hester and a 99 speed Deion Sanders. They still have Kyle Pitts. Offensive line, they're needing some attention, especially at the left tackle and the left tackle mainly. Defensively though, like, they're okay. Corey Peters is a solid stocking stuffer. Dwight Freeney is a fantastic edge rusher. Honestly, 93 speed, 96 finesse move. He's a great edge rusher. Deion Jones, in my personal opinion, I still think he's incredibly underrated for a linebacker. 93 speed on a Falcons team is just very, very good. Dante Fowler Jr., I think got he got a blitz card, never mind. But Dante Fowler, 91 speed. Obviously, they got Deion Sanders, Cordero Patterson. This team is still very, very good, but, for this team, I'm going to make this team a B tier. By the way, these tiers, they're in no particular order. I'm not saying that when I put the Falcons here, I'm not saying they're better than the Vikings or they're better than the Lions. I'm just putting them in the B tier because I think they're all the same. It's just mainly subjective. But personally, when it comes to this team, they do need some upgrades at the offensive line. And I think they might need a new quarterback. Michael Vick is definitely very good, but I think it's probably time that Matt Ryan gets a card. Matt Ryan has not gotten a card since his the Superstars promo, which isn't a shocker because there's some other cards that did not get an upgrade that have been in the Superstars promo. Hint, hint. Anyhow, Baltimore Ravens. Let's look at the Baltimore Ravens. They got significantly better with these last 2 weeks. Randall Cunningham and Lamar Jackson. But they also did get Ricky Williams, who's again a very great running back. They also did get Kyle Juszczyk as well. But they did get Devin Hester and Deion Sanders, who are very fantastic receivers. Very, very great. Deion Sanders, 99 speed. Devin Hester as well, 99 speed. Mark Andrews is really great. Offensive line, they have some good players in the offensive line. Defensively, though, they did get significantly better. They did get a little bit better on defense. This guy here is still pretty bad. But Brandon Williams, who got a 0 chill card, an 88 power move, 95 block shed, very, very good. Calais Campbell got another card. Matthew Judon is still very good. Ray Lewis, Alice Dumerville. But the secondary did get a big addition with Marlon Humphrey, who I think is one of the best corners in the entire game. 97 man, 95 zone, 96 speed. Like, this card is just insanely good. It was an LTD that did rotate out of packs now, but this card is still very, very good, for a cornerback. Like, I really do think this is one of the best cornerbacks in the entire game. Is he better than Richard Sherman? No. But, Vernon Humphrey is still a very good card. Ed Reed is still very usable, 97 speed. Ed Reed is still a very usable card. Obviously, their free safety isn't the best, but the Ravens, I think, were the most improved, so I'm going to put them up in the A tier. Because they got some much needed upgrades at the wide receiver. They got another cornerback upgrade. Deion Sanders is really good, but like I said, Marcus Peters, he's not the best. But Marlon Humphrey was definitely needed for this team. So they're an A tier team now. Now we move on to Chicago. Now Chicago, they got a couple of new faces. Justin Fields was overdue for an upgrade because he was a team builder and he got one with 95 speed. He does get Escape Artist, as you can see right here. There it is. He does get Escape Artist, which is a very good ability. But Justin Fields, he does look very good, stats-wise, the overall great accuracy. Not the best throw on the run, but he does have some solid throw power. They did get Walter Payton. I think it was on Christmas when this guy came out. I think Walter Payton was the Christmas legend. 97 speed Walter Payton for this guy, for the card. 86 catching, 89 short route running for a running back. That is incredible. You know, good after the catch stuff. Obviously not the William Perry. They also got William Perry for out of position card, which is also pretty good. Devin Hester they did get as well for a receiver, and then they also have Brandon Marshall. So they got a better receiver. Tight end, they're still not the best. They also still have a solid about a mediocre offensive line. Defensively though, they did get somewhat better. They did get Akeem Hicks, which 97 block shed is just cracked. Especially right now. Jay Ratliff is still pretty good. Dominican Sue, Khalil Mack, Alex Singletary, Wibbler Marshall. Then for corners, this is where this team really does, need some attention. Mainly is in the secondary. But the Bears are still a good team. I think they're still a B-tier team. They need some secondary attention for both the corners and safeties. And then maybe another wide receiver because Allen Robinson is just not going to do it for this team. So I do think that is pretty solid. That's how I feel about the Bears. Let's move on to the Bengals. Now the Bengals, I don't really think they got any better. They still have I think they're basically the same. I don't know if they got anybody else. Anthony Munoz, Billy Price, was he a card up? No. Quentin Spain, yeah, they did get a Quentin Spain. Yeah, I don't think this team didn't get any better. So realistically, now they're a D tier team. The Bengals are just a D tier theme team now because they did not get anything. I don't know. What about this Marcus Bailey? He was their stocking stuffer. But after that, the Bengals really just got left behind. My goodness. Oh no, they got this Akeem Davis. They got this Akeem Davis gentleman. I cannot. Akeem Davis Gather. Sure, why not? I don't know. But yeah, other than that, the Bengals, yeah, they're a D tier team. There's really nothing to say about this team that has not been addressed. This team is just pretty bad. Dallas Cowboys. Jesus Christ, this team just got absolutely insane since the last one. Dallas Cowboys. Tony Romo he's a very good quarterback. As much as people try to say that he's not, he does get gunslinger and hot route master, and he has some solid mobility at 82 speed, which is honestly fine. Tavon Austin is pretty good, but they did get Deion Sanders, Michael Irvin. Michael Irvin, I don't know if he was in the last team rankings, but still 98 speed is pretty good. Deion Sanders, 99 speed. Keyshawn Johnson is still pretty good. The receiver core for the Cowboys is really great. Offensive line, they're still pretty set up. They're still pretty good. Defensively, though, I think this team, they got a new Ghost of Madden cards in Randy Gregory. And they also did get a Micah Parsons LTD, who did get the pass rush upgrades that he definitely deserved. It's just a shame that he is not actually a pass rushing linebacker. He is a run stopper, which I think is a little bit annoying, but that's neither here nor there. DeMarcus Ware got a Ghost of Madden card for the Ghost of Madden promo. 95 speed on the edge for DeMarcus Ware. Very, very good. 95 hit power, 95 block shed, 95 pursuit. DeMarcus Ware is really great. Then they got Mel Renfro for a cornerback. I think he was the defensive legend that came out on Christmas. Yeah, he came out on Christmas with Walter Payton. But Mel Renfro is really, really good. And then you got your safeties that still need upgrading. But this team is still an S tier. This team is still an S tier team. They only got better with Zero Chill, with the additions of guys like, say, Deion Sanders and Michael Irvin. And then they got Tony Romo, who came out a week before Christmas. And then they got, Randy Gregory. But, the Cowboys are still a very, very good. How about them Cowboys, right? Anyways, Houston Texans. This team, I don't think they got any better. I really don't think they got anything of significance for me to talk about them. It does not look like they did. So for me personally, the Texans are a D tier theme team. They really just did not improve over the Christmas promo. They just really did not improve at all, and they're still pretty bad. Honestly, from what it looks like, I can make a case that they're one of the worst teams in the game, but that's neither here nor there. Indianapolis Colts, and I think they still didn't get any better either. I think they are still a they got Peyton Manning. Oh, my bad. They did go Dwight Freeney, who is a pretty solid player. Not pretty solid. He's one of the best pass rushers in the game. 96 speed pass rusher. Really, really good for him. But after that, the receivers are still not the greatest. Kenny Moore is okay, but The Colts, I think they're a C tier team. They're definitely better than these three teams because I think the Colts did get somebody. Yeah, they got Dwight Freeney, who is a really good player. But yeah, this team is really looking like they're going to be a D tier team very soon if they don't get an upgrade. Now let's talk about the Los Angeles Rams. The Los Angeles Rams, who did they? Yeah, they got. Okay, so they got a couple of players. First was Odell Beckham from the house rules. So 94 speeds on 96 speed running back. He does come with evasive, route tech, and backfield master. All for 3 AP, and he does have 72 carrying, but just like the Michael Vick, this card is still very, the carrying isn't the worst thing. They also get they also got Darrell Henderson, for the Ghost of Madden. 95 juke, 92 spin, 94 change of direction, 96 speed with the Rams chem. Wide receiver, Cooper Kupp. I think he'll get a Team of the Year card. He absolutely should get Team of the Year. I don't think there's a reason he should not. He's been playing out of his mind, unless he gets an NFL Honors card, but even then, I think he's still very good. They did get an out of position Robert Woods for the Rams. So 96 speed on the Rams team. Has some solid route running to him, but he's not the best in terms of tight ends that they have. Defensively, though, I think this team remained about the same, actually. They didn't really change too much. My bad. No, they did get Aqib Talib, who, again, is one of the best corners in the game. But the Rams are still pretty good, so I think I'm going to put the Rams at a B tier. Obviously, they do need some extra corners, I think. Yeah, extra corners. They do need some better cornerbacks, and they also need better wide receivers. So, those are what I think about that. Now we'll go on to the Los Angeles Chargers, who are right here. And I don't actually think these guys got anybody. Oh, no, they got Mike Williams, who is 97 speed, which is okay. But keep in mind, he is 6'4", so that actually does help him out a bit, especially in the red zone. So, yeah, they got, Joey Port. They got Mike Williams. They also did get Junior Seau, who is a very good middle linebacker. I think he's the best middle linebacker in the entire game, personally, especially with his 6'3" size. They did get Chris Harris for a zero chill master, so they have a 99 speed corner. And they also do have Jason Verrett. But after that, Desmond King is not very good. Casey Hayward's pretty bad. Asante Samuel. So this team does need some corners. Safeties, though, Derwin James is one of the better safeties in the entire game. I do think he is a very good player, but I'm going to give the Chargers a B, a low B, actually. Let me just, sure, I guess right here. I'm going to give the Chargers a low B. Obviously, they need some secondary help, and I think they could probably use another receiver or two. Other than that, I think they're still pretty solid. Kansas City Chiefs, theme team is up next. I don't necessarily know if they got anything, to be completely honest. Travis Kelce's pretty good, They got some good players for the offense. Defensively, like I said, I don't know. Did they even get anything is the question. Derek Thomas. They did get they got Darrell Revis. So Ty Law they got for a bow nose drop. Then they did get Darrell Revis, who's really good. And then they got Kendall Fuller, who's okay as a slot receiver. But Rashad Fenton was a Ghost of Madden card for them. I completely forgot. 98 speed, Rashad Fenton. But their cornerbacks are really good. Safeties, they're still a little bit on the lower half. But I think the Chiefs are a B, bordering on an A team. I think, honestly, if the Chiefs get some better linebackers and some better weapons, like receiving-wise, like Emmanuel Sanders and Andre Rison are just not good enough. So I think if they get more receivers and if they get more linebackers, this team can be very, very good. Next, we'll move on to the New Orleans Saints, and they are right here. So New Orleans Saints, Teddy Bridgewater is still their best back, but they did get Ricky Williams and Adrian Peterson, Brandon Cooks, Emmanuel Sanders. They did get out of position Taysom Hill, who's a very good card with 96 speed on the Saints theme team, 91 catch in traffic, 95 short, 94 mid, 91 deep. He's got some good route running. Offensive line, they're pretty great. Ryan Ramcheeks. Cesar Ruiz. I think Cesar was their stocking stuffer. Yes, he was. Cesar was their stocking stuffer. Eric McCoy is still pretty good. Akeem Hicks, one of the better run-stopping DNs in the game. D-tackle, they're not the greatest. Al Qaid Muhammad, sure. I don't know. But This team, they also do have the new they also do have PJ Williams for the season champion, for the level 50 season power up guy, who's fine. Don't get me wrong, he's fine. It's just PJ Williams, when it comes to corners, after that, they're still not very good. But I'm going to put the Saints as a B tier theme team. Yeah, obviously their corners are not the best. They need a quarterback upgrade. Teddy Bridgewater is fine, especially with the throwing stats he has. But I do think Teddy Bridgewater doesn't cut it. But their run game is really great. They have a great punch at running back with Ricky Williams and Adrian Peterson. Next, we move on to the New York Giants. And I think the Giants also did not get much. Other than Odell Beckham, which was an upgrade that they needed for fullback. Other than that, after Odell Beckham, I don't really think they got anything. My bad. They got Nate Solder for an offensive lineman who is actually pretty good. He's actually very good for an offensive lineman. But after that, Everson Walls is pretty solid. But James Bradbury is also really good. But Janoris Jenkins is okay. Actually, what are his coverage stats? I actually don't. Okay, so Janoris Jenkins is actually better than I gave him credit for. Lawrence Taylor. Oh yeah, he was the most favored card. But, this team still does need a little bit of attention. So I'm going to put the Giants at the C tier. Personally, they do need a new quarterback as well. They also need I think they need some better receivers at this point. 97 speed, 6'5" is great. But then 97 speed, especially with these two being 6'5", with Plaxico and Brandon Marshall, those are solid. Evan Ingram, they're, I'm actually going to put the Giants in B. I'm actually going to put the Giants in the B tier. I think definitely they do need some upgrades at, the front four mainly, especially with Michael Strahan. Hopefully he gets an upgrade very soon. But yeah, so the Giants are a B tier team. Next, we'll move on to their division rival Eagles, which are right here. Now, the Eagles, I think they're in the conversation for the most improved team in the I don't think these guys, but they're pretty good. So Jalen Hurts, he's the new quarterback for the Eagles that came out today. 96 speed, 96 throw power, great throwing stats. Is he better than Derrick Henry? That remains to be seen. But this Jalen Hurts card is incredibly good. Powered up, he does get both Gunslinger and Escape Artist, which is right here. But Jalen Hurts is very, very great. Garrett Blount is still great as well. But they also got Michael Vick, William Perry. The receivers are not the best. Their offensive line is okay. Jason Kelce is one of the last core elites that I think needs a upgrade. If I'm not mistaken, I think he's one of the last core elites other than Eric Armstead that needs an upgrade. Defensive line, though, they're pretty set. Linebackers, they got some good linebackers. Eric Wilson. They did get a much-needed upgrade with Darius Slay. And then they got Steven Nelson, who was their stocking stuffer. Avonte Maddox is okay. Brian Dawkins was a legend that came out for them a couple of days after I made that video, because I released my video on Christmas, but I didn't make the video. I made the video I want to say a few days before Christmas. I don't remember when I made it, but it was a little while before. But Malcolm Jenkins, also 96 speed, not the best, but the Eagles, I'm going to put them in B as well. There are a lot of B tier theme teams, but I do think the receivers are what is really holding this team back. Devonta Smith, he's okay, but then Miles Austin's okay. Deshaun Jackson's by far their best receiver, even though Miles Austin, and then you got Charlie Young, who's really good. Zach Ertz has got a card that's solid. Dallas Goedert's good, but they need some receiving help. That I think was what will make this team much better, is if they got some receivers. Now let's move on to the Pittsburgh Steelers. Now Pittsburgh got Ben, still has Ben. I don't necessarily know. Oh no, they got Franco Harris, who came out a couple of days after Christmas. 96 speed on the Steelers theme team. Definitely a fantastic fullback. 93 carry, 95 trucking, 95 break tackle. He's a great utility fullback. Receivers, though, Lynn Swan is still great. Antonio Brown is solid. Plaxico, again, 6'5". Tight end, Eric Ebron, but, their offensive line definitely does need some help with the left tackle position mainly. Defensively, though, I think this team is a little bit better. I think they did get a little bit better. TJ Watt did get a 0 chill card. I think personally he should have got a 95, but that's neither a conversation neither here nor there. And they did get Steven Nelson for corner, but after that, the cornerbacks for this team are just fucking atrocious, man. These corners definitely need some attention for the Steelers. So the Steelers, in my opinion, are going to be a C tier theme team because their corners are so bad. Because after Steven Nelson, you got, Cameron Sutton, yada, yada, yada. So they're going to be a C tier theme team. The Broncos, on the other hand, though, the Broncos are one of the best theme teams in the entire game. They do have Tim Tebow, who's a great quarterback. Great receivers in Jerry Jeudy, Brandon Marshall, and Tim Patrick, who I think Jerry Jeudy's 6'1". Yeah, and he's their 90. He's the card you get at level 30 for season 2. So if you hit level 30 on season 2, you get this card. He is a 99 speed receiver, and you basically can get it for free. Vernon Davis, their offensive line is okay. They did get Matt Paradis, who was a Ghost of Madden card, who was actually pretty solid. Great run blocking stats mainly, but he's still pretty good. The Broncos, their front four is pretty bad. Their linebackers are okay. You got DeMarcus Ware and Seth Joyner, and you also got Shaq Barrett. But the team dominates in the secondary. They have a great secondary with Ty Law, Aqib Talib, Chris Harris, Patrick Surtain has emerged as a quality cornerback for this team. Brian Dawkins, Justin Simmons, John Lynch. I'm going to put this team at the S tier, honestly. Their front four isn't the best, don't get me wrong, but if you run a base nickel or a base nickel or dime defense, you could easily you can easily go over that by having guys like DeMarcus Ware. Like, you could put like DeMarcus Ware here, you could put Shaq Barrett at the left, at the right end. You can do some things with this. And also their secondary is really, really, really good. Then we move on to the Green Bay Packers. Now the Green Bay Packers fans can no longer say EA hates them because they gave them a great Davante Adams card. 96 speed with 97 catching and catching traffic, 96, 95, and 95 route running with a 97 spec catch and 95 release. Like, the Packers got a fantastic card in Davante Adams. He is one of the best, if not the best receiver in the entire game. Obviously, though, their receivers after that aren't the greatest, but they did get the best receiver in the game. But even then, the Packers still do definitely need some upgrades. Aaron Rodgers, I think it's time he got a new one soon. Personally, I think should get a new one soon. A.J. Dillon is still very good for a running back, and Aaron Jones is also pretty good. Tavon Austin at 95 speed. You can definitely, especially on this team, put him at wide receiver. Jermichael Finley is an incredible card at 95 speed, also being 6'5". He's a big guy. He's got that speed. Offensive line, they're ultimately really, really great. And then defensively, Kenny Clark is still pretty great. KGB is fantastic. Well, not fantastic. He's still pretty good. 94 finesse move, 93 finesse move, and 91 speed on a Packers theme team. Christian Kirksey is a great run-stopping linebacker. Ted Hendricks is also very good still. But they did get also a Ted Hendricks out of position 0 chill card. He gets 98 speed on a Packers theme team, and he's 6'7", which is incredible. Also, they did give him Darnell Savage, who also goes up to 98 speed, but he's 5'11". But the Packers got a lot of love this promo. I think personally, I think they could have gotten more. Obviously, I think they could have gotten more. There were some team players that I think could have gotten an upgrade. Maybe they could have given, a low card to Casey Hayward or something like that. Just to help out their cornerbacks, because Charles Woodson 96 speed, Jair Alexander 96 speed, Perry Nickerson is pretty good, but their cornerbacks are pretty mediocre. But make no mistake, the Packers are still a B tier theme team. The Packers are still very solid. Especially now with the new addition of Davante Adams, I think they're actually in the higher B tier now. But like I said, Packers theme teamers can no longer say that EA hates them. Now we move on to the Panthers, the Carolina Panthers. There they are. Carolina, they're still pretty down. I don't think they really got too much of anything. They get Matt Paradis for for their card. I think Vernon Butler was a team. He was a team of the week card, and I think he came out a while ago. Mike Rucker was a Ghost of Madden card, though. Oh no, he was another team of the week card. Never mind. I'm trying to think here. Who else? Who did they really? Oh yeah, they got a middle linebacker, Cam Newton, 92 speed on the Panthers team, and he's 6'5". That's actually pretty solid. For a middle linebacker, that's pretty good. They did get Keith Taylor, who was a Ghost of Madden card for them. They get James Bradbury as well. Stephon Gilmore, I think, is overdue for an upgrade, obviously. But this team is still in the C tier. They're still not the best. Obviously, they still need some attention, particularly in the secondary. And also receivers, because after Robbie Anderson and Keyshawn Johnson, it is like downhill from there. David Moore, DJ Moore, Curtis Samuel, just yuck. Las Vegas Raiders. All right, Las Vegas Raiders. So let's talk about the Raiders. Now, I don't think they really got a whole lot. They got Cliff Branch, who was a solid receiver, but that was a few weeks ago. Just looking at this team, I don't think they really did get a whole lot. They got an out-of-position Cordell Patterson. I mean, they did get a 10 Hendricks card, which is still pretty good, but other than that, for the promo, I don't necessarily think they got too much. Even that, though, I still think they're one of the best teams in the game. So I'm going to put them at A tier. They're still one of the best teams. Obviously, they do need a better quarterback for obvious reasons, but, it is what it is. But this team is still, this team is still a very good card team. Don't get me wrong. Oh, yeah, my bad. They did get Benson Mayowa, who's actually pretty good. 92 speed, 94 finesse move. Benson Mayowa is actually better than I think a lot of people thought he was going to be. But, the Raiders are still an A-tier team. Next, we move on to Washington. Now, this team for Washington, I don't necessarily, where are they? I don't necessarily know if they got anything else that much either. They did get Kirk. Oh, no, they did get Adrian Peterson, who, there's his stats again. Deion Sanders, my bad. They did get Deion as well. Terry McLaurin was actually a Ghost, so they actually did get some things. I completely did not remember that, but Terry McLaurin is still pretty good. Frank Wycheck, they just got today, as well as Vernon Davis. Wow. I didn't even realize the Washington football team is actually low-key starting to creep up a tiny bit. Offensive line, they're still not the best, obviously. But Bruce Smith is pretty good. Jonathan Allen was an LTD that came out yesterday. Anyways. Then you also got Jason Taylor. He came out a while ago. Then you got Chase Young, Dave Robinson, Wibbler Marshall, Kendra Fuller. They did get a little bit of different players. They also got a new Sean Taylor with 99 speed on the Washington football team theme team. But I still think this is a C tier theme team personally. I think Washington is still C. Their offensive line is not the best. They got they don't even have an elite middle linebacker, which is pretty bad. Landon Collins is still not a great safety, and of course, the best of all, they got Kirk Cousins at quarterback, which is just a bad decision all the way around. Arizona Cardinals is up next. Now, Arizona Cardinals, they got a new Kyler Murray, which is a fantastic card. I've heard lots of good things about this Kyler Murray. 95 speed, so he's 97 speed on the Cardinals theme team. Great throwing stats, good stuff with the ball carrying. Now, he does get Gunslinger and Escape Artist and Pass Lead Elite. You see, here is Escape Artist, and here is for Ability Slot 2, and then Pass Lead Elite. But Kyler Murray is a very good card. They also did get Adrian Peterson as well. Receivers, they did get DeAndre Hopkins, but I don't necessarily think he's the best. 97 speed, and he's only 6'1". If he was 6'3", 6'4", he'd be a lot better. Offensive line, though, they're fantastic. They're one of the best offensive lines in the entire game. Defensively, though, this team did get a couple of big upgrades. First with Dwight Freeney. Then they also did get, where is he? So then they also did get Patrick Peterson, which is, again, one of the best corners in the entire game. And then they did get an LTD Isaiah Simmons, which is just a fantastic card. 99 speed, 97 man, 96 zone, 95 press. This out of position Isaiah Simmons card is just fantastic. Although I find it really funny that this card is considered an out of position when last year he was a safety. Then, at the beginning of this year, he was considered a strong safety. And then they put out a card to make him a middle linebacker. And then later on, they made a card for him to be a strong safety again. So I don't necessarily know what Isaiah Simmons is doing, what they're doing with Isaiah Simmons. But I think the Cardinals are an A-tier theme team. Next, we move on to the Buffalo Bills, and Yeah, the Bills have been neglected horribly. I mean, they did get Robert Woods and they did get a new left guard, or right guard, I mean, but the Bills have not had any upgrades for quite a little while. So the Bills, in my personal opinion, are a D tier team. It is unfortunate because I do like the Bills team. You know, they have some good players. It's just like, you know, they need some different players. Next, we move on to my Seahawks team. Now, I have to say the Seahawks have gotten significant. I think the Hawks, and I'm not being biased, were the most improved team out of this entire promo. We got Adrian Peterson, who is, again, one of the best backs in the game. We also did get Franco Harris, who I never knew was a Seahawk until someone told me he was, so thanks, Nate. Then we got Devin Hester and Doug Baldwin, Brandon Marshall for our receivers, Charlie Young for our tight end. For our offensive line, though, it has made some good strides. You know, Kevin Mawai and Walter Jones are the best two at their position. Then we got Mark Lewinsky here. But for the defense, this is where this team has really taken a bit of a step forward. Dwight Freeney is one of the best pass rushers in the game. Obviously, like I've talked about before, showcased before. Obviously, the left end isn't the best, but, you know, you just move over somebody to the left end. Bobby Wagner finally got his long overdue upgrade. 94 speed, 96 acceleration, 93 block shed. You know, this card is very, very good. Was hoping this card would be a Team of the Year card, but alas, it was not. Benson Mayowa is still is an underrated card. I think this card is still pretty good. And then cornerbacks, this team has made some significant strides. First, we got Richard Sherman with the Ghost of Madden drop. You know, 99 speed, 96 man, 95 man, 96 zone, 95 press, you know, 6'3". Just make sure when you're throwing at Richard Sherman, you're not testing him with sorry receivers like Crabtree. Okay, I don't know how many times I'm going to say that before the joke gets completely old. Then we did get DK Metcalf out of position guard, which I'm actually quite surprised this wasn't out of position for DK. I thought he was going to be a safety, but I'll take an out of position corner. 99 speed, 95 man, 94 zone. You know, great corner all the way around. And he is also 6'3". And then we got Shaquille Griffin with 98 speed. He's 6 foot tall. You know, very good corner. Quandre Diggs, you know, Jamal Adams, Cam Chancellor. We also did get out of Bobby Wagner, out of position punter, which just to this day still makes me laugh. Honestly, this still makes me laugh to this very day. But Bobby Wagner is still a pretty solid punter. But, you know, in my opinion, and I'm not going to be biased, this team is an A-tier theme team. Once we get our quarterback upgrade with Russ, I think this team is going to be S-tier. I honestly do believe this team will be an S-tier theme team once we get our quarterback upgrade, whenever that may be, which I'm quite honestly surprised that there was not a upgrade for Russ in this promo. But anyhow, now we'll move on to the New York Jets. Now, the New York Jets, they got Tebow for the Zero Chill promo. He was an LTD for them. They also did get Michael Vick for the running back. They still have some of the best receivers in the game, Keyshawn, Robbie, and Brandon Marshall, who were all 6'3" and taller. Then you still have Plaxico Burress. Offensive line, though, this team is not the best. Actually, I take that back. This team just needs a better left tackle, honestly. But, you know, Kevin Mawai, Elijah Vera Tucker, Greg Van Roten, Kelvin Beckham. Defensively, though, I think this team is a little bit on the lower half. You know, Quentin Williams is pretty solid. But then you have, you know, Jason Taylor as well. But, you know, Kevin Pierre-Louis, Jonathan Vilma, Weibler Marshall. Then for the cornerbacks, actually, this team is still pretty solid. You know, they also do have Jamal Adams, Matt Amendola, John Franklin Myers. But, you know, the Jets are still an S tier, in my personal opinion. I think the Jets are an S tier. They got a good quarterback, especially a quarterback with escape artist and gunslinger. But yeah, this team is still an S tier theme team. And then finally we have not the Houston Texans, the New England Patriots. And the Patriots are also a fantastic theme team as well. Cam Newton, quarterback, LeGarrette Blount. They also do still have some solid receivers, you know, Brandon Cooks, Antonio Brown, and Randy Moss. Gronk, they also did get Isaiah Wynn, John Hanna. You know, they got Nate Solder for the Zero Chill for Ghosts of Madden. Akeem Hicks, you know, Vince Wilfork, Richard Seymour. Like, this team is still very, very good. They got Junior Seau recently, you know, Kyle Van Noy. You know, so, like, this team is still stacked from top to bottom. I still think that this is an S tier theme team, personally. So anyways, guys, that is going to be my re-rankings of the Madden 22 theme teams as of the beginning of the new year. Do you agree or disagree with anything on this list? Let me know in the comment section below. Hit the like button if you guys did enjoy. Subscribe if you guys are new to the channel. And I will see you guys in the next video. I'm out. Peace.